Hello, I am Sylvia and I am going to talk about company Starbucks. The company background is back then the company was a single store in Seattle, historic Piquet Place Market. From just a narrow storefront, Starbucks offers some of the world's finest fresh roasted whole bean cafes. The name, inspired by Moby Dick, evoke the romance of the high sea and the seafaring tradition of the early coffee traders. In 1981, Howard Schultz, Starbucks chairman and the chief executive officer, had walked into a Starbucks store from his first cup of Sumatra. Howard was drawn into Starbucks and joined a year later. In 1983, Howard traveled to Italy and became captivated with the Italian coffee bars and the romance of the coffee experience. He had a vision to bring the Italian coffee house tradition back to the United States, a place for conversation and a sense of community, a third place between work and home. He left Starbucks for a short period of time to start his own second Giornale coffee house and returned in August 1987 to purchase Starbucks with the help of local investors. So the company's products or services is coffee, more than 30 blends and single origin premium coffees, and the second is handcraft beverage such as fresh brewed coffee, hot and iced espresso beverage and iced coffee, and many more. The third one is merchandise such as coffee and tea brewing equipment, mug and accessories, and the fourth one is fresh food such as baked pastries, cold and hot sandwiches, salads, and many more. And some of the product available where groceries are sold is coffee and tea, like in the bottle. And so the effects of cultural elements to the company products or services in Malaysia. Malaysia is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country, and high diversity among the customer and employees of Starbucks coffee can be seen. Although high diversity has some drawbacks such as communication barriers between customers and employees can be seen, Starbucks Coffee Company uses that high diversity as the opportunity to provide service satisfaction to customers who are different from one to another state by Starbucks US President Cliff Burrows. So the first one is cultural. Culture is the shared set of belief, values, pattern of behavior common to a group of people. Malaysia has a wide and rich hot drinks and beverage culture. According to rapid growth of Malaysian economy and GDP, consumption of high standardized and brand beverage are increased. Meanwhile, Starbucks has become popular since for people to have coffee talk, socialize and relax. Average Malaysian drink is 1.58 cups of coffee per day, which might be lower than the world average. Reason is Malaysian does not prefer coffee such as Western people. Thus, Starbucks provide more tea-based drinks with not standing. Coffee is the popular in the young adults, which will later explain further in customer and the client. And the second is language. The official language of Malaysia is Malay, Bahasa Malaysia. However, there is 145 other language and 130 of which are tribal. Other principal language are English, several Chinese language and dialects, Tamils and Iban. English is official language for Starbucks coffee anywhere in the world. Starbucks stores speak in English. Starbucks recruit barista who can speak in basic English.
Hi everyone, I will continue with the presentation. So the last culture element in Malaysia is religion. Religion is a major influence on human lives, and its impact may extend to practices regarding dress, food, and interpersonal behavior. So in Malaysia, it has major Muslim community. On August 25, Malaysian Muslims on Friday lunch boycott of US goods in protest over Washington's support for Israel, which is under attack here for its military campaign in Lebanon. The Muslim Consumer Association of Malaysia said it will call on Malaysians to stop buying products from three high-profile US companies, Starbucks, Coca-Cola and Colgate, in the predominantly Muslim nation. Okay, so for the third question is, how Hofstede's five-dimension culture affect the company operation in Malaysia? First of all, is Malaysia an individualism or a collectivism? Malaysia, with a score of 26%, is a collectivistic society. This manifests in a close long-term commitment to the member group, be that a family, extended family, or extended relationships. Loyalty in a collectivist culture is paramount and overrides most other societal rules and regulations. Such a society fosters strong relationships where everyone takes responsibility for fellow members of the group. Malaysians tend to have a high concern for others, keep other people in mind, promote a sense of oneness with other people, and consider the group as a basic unit of survival. So that's why Malaysia is a collectivism. Secondly, masculinity versus femininity. Masculinity versus femininity dimension refers to the distribution of values or emotional roles between the genders. Masculinity is reflected in one's preference for achievement and material success, while femininity is more towards preference for relationships and caring. Malaysian cultures value relationships and selflessness, which show low masculinity and high femininity. The important aspect of the South Asia's cultural system is its bilateral nature, where females have the same social roles and positions as the men. This is the result of dynamism between the Malay traditions and Islamic values that acknowledge women's rights and positions in society. The Malaysians value relationships more than wealth. This is reflected in the proverb, "Debt in gold can be paid, however, debt in gratefulness will be carried to the grave." As defined by Hofstede, the guru of national culture and its effect on organizations, masculinity and femininity refers to the way a culture values masculine or feminine traits in business. Very simply put, a culture that predominantly values masculinity will be characterized by a philosophy of living to work and all that encompasses, like emphasis on achievement, wealth, and expansion. In contrast, a feminine culture will work to live and focus more on relationships, nurturance, and quality of life. Thirdly, for the power distance, Malaysia scores very high on this dimension that have a score of 104, which means that people accept a hierarchical order in which everybody has a place and which needs no further justification. Hierarchy is an organization is seen as reflecting inherent inequalities centralization is popular, subordinates expect to be told what to do, and the ideal boss is a benevolent autocrat. Challenges to the leadership are not well received. So, that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching.